Hi, I'm Arthur Sherwood, and I'm your story host. In this episode, we share a piece of the Florex story, a family-owned and operated business located in San Ramon, Costa Rica. Florex is most well known for its high-quality, safe, and natural cleaning supplies. And we found the multi-generational story to just keep getting more and more interesting and inspiring as we met the people of Florex, including the current CEO Esteban and his father, who now focuses his time at Lecanto.
So the story, okay. So everything starts, as I mentioned. My dad is here from San Ramon.
Yes.
Grew up in a big family of 14 brothers and sisters. And then when he was 18 years old, he decided to leave the country with the Catholic Church and go do missionary work. Basically, what he mainly did was try to teach people how to have different ways of income. Work with metal, work with wood, technical classes like electricians, things like that. A stable income gives a person a sense of self-value, give them money to solve other issues that probably will solve in different ways. And it's one of the most impactful ways you can give to a community. He came back to Costa Rica, worked around for like 2 years. He was a teacher, a bus driver, many different things.
Here in San Ramon?
Here in San Ramon, in Costa Rica. He worked with tourism too. So then he decided to start a company called Escosa. Escosa is a janitorial service company. He started with the idea in mind of giving employment, like stable, formal employment, to single mothers of low education. Normally in Costa Rica and Latin America, single mothers low education end up working cleaning houses and not with the best formal benefits of a stable employment. Sure. So different hours, different pay, many different things. So he started the company with that idea in mind.
So it was a janitorial company.
It was a janitorial company.
Hiring that particular set of people. So this is one of the businesses you're overseeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The impact that he's been able to do, we quantified 2 years ago. There were around 12,000 people that had a work in Escosa.
Yeah.
They do come and go in different scenarios.
Sure.
4-year contract, things like that. But it was around like 12,000 people.
That's amazing.
That work in Escosa. We always take into account the 3 main pillars. You gotta have the environmental side, the environmental pillar. You gotta have the social side, and you need to have the economic side. Because it's
for your companies,
because it's a company. It's not a non-profit.
Right.
So it's a company that is supposed to make money and resources. Then to continue with the story from there, he started to notice a pattern. So people were getting sick. They were getting skin allergies. They were getting breathing allergies, eye irritation, many different symptoms. And then he started to look more into that and realized it was the chemicals. It was the cleaning chemicals that were doing that to people. I always explain it's really different when you clean your house 1-2 hours a day than when you're doing this on your 9 to 5 every single day in an industrial setting. He looked, yes, you could find some, at that time, we're talking early 2000, 2005, 2006, you could find some people working with this in the US, you could find some people in Europe. But to bring those products here to Costa Rica was already the biggest challenge for the company. It was unfeasible to do that. So he decided to start manufacturing the cleaning products.
Instead of trying to
import them. So he started in our house. He started to make different type of products. That is how Fábrica Florex started. So the factory of all the Florex products, that's how it started over there. Basically manufacturing products for industrial use that will take care of the health of the people using them.
So he started this at the house.
Started this
How did you experience that as a kid?
I was running around. Minor here, that is the leader of our research and development department. He always tells me that I was the main problem running around. He'll be working with products, and then he'll have to have a kid running around over there. But it's also really, really nice because he's seen the whole history as well.
Yes.
so they remember all that part. And it's a big part of what Florex and the history of Florex. So it started there. Then my mom shows up. Basically, my mom, she is an environmental lawyer. In her earlier stages of the career, she worked mainly with protected areas and in the indigenous population. So she worked on the legislation and working on how to legalize and help them, like bring their land that is in the middle of a national park or in the middle of the mountain,
Right.
to work with the system that is established for the rest of the country, so they can have legal ownership of that land and avoid many of the issues that comes with not having the land legally owned.
Right. So this is happening all across Costa Rica.
So this is happening all across. We're talking again early 2000s.
Yes.
She took Fabrica Florex, and then her idea of expanding it to many products more than just selling to the janitorial company. So that's what created Fabrica Florex that it is today. Today we have around 130 different products, 300 different presentations of those products. And we, as a factory, she added, and to the product, she added all the environmental side.
I see.
But Florex works on both sides of cleaning. We work on the industrial side of cleaning, that you can think on big hotels, restaurants, hospitals, the biomedical industry, the food industry, big office complexes, and things like that. So what we do in Florex is every product that Florex has needs to meet the biodegradable criteria. So nowadays, everything is biodegradable and everything is green. So how do you differentiate from that, right? So you get a plastic bottle that's biodegradable. It just takes many
Long
years,
time.
but it's biodegradable. It's going to degrade in the environment. So that criteria that we use is 60% of our product needs to disappear within 28 days.
Oh,
That is that criteria once it reaches the environment, and it needs to be in the environment, not in a controlled biodegradable environment.
just in the normal environment.
In the normal environment. So what we do in that sense is we look on the EPA list. There's the European Union list of forbidden raw materials, and then we have our own. So there's 3 criteria to buy any raw material.
Okay.
And from there, we do a whole study on the different providers that we have. So I'll go talk to my distributor of the importer and tell him, hey, what are your sustainability criteria? What are your manufacturers that are making these raw materials, sustainability criteria and social criteria? And then we go to choose the ones that have the highest rating in that study that we do. 80% of what we buy is classified as A in our sustainability study. So it's about 90, 85 on meeting all the sustainability criteria. Those are the providers that give us 80% of our raw materials. So you get the raw materials to make your cake, for example. And then from there, you start choosing how to use those. And in chemistry, we have 2 main things: concentration, and then the repercussions of that chemical at any concentration, right? So the way that I can explain it is, if you have a fishbowl and you put a disinfectant, it's going to kill the fish. But what happens is that disinfectant reaches a river or a lake, which has a lot more water, and it disperses a lot more, and concentration is a lot less. And here in the factory, there's nowhere in the world that has more concentration of Florex products than the factory. So you're going to see how we handle it here. And then you're going to see how we handle it in clients is because of that. We need to go and study the client and see what they're doing. And then the other part is, if we have a chemical that is going to impact the environment in a way that doesn't matter the concentration is going to cut down harm, we take it out of the formula. It just cannot be added to the product. This creates more expensive products, yeah. This creates a lot more work, yep. But it's one of the things that we need to consider from when we start to make those products.
Totally makes sense.
I explained what we do with the formulation of the product, what we do with the manufacturing of the product.
Yes.
Now the product leaves, gets sold outside, and then we gotta think farther ahead. What are we doing with the containers that my product has?
Right.
So plastic, for me, is a misuse material. So plastic is treated really well, can be helpful. So what we came up with is we using recycled plastic. We started, and recycled plastic has a lot of different complications. So what we're doing is we're trying to put the same bottles that we put out. They get brought back here, and then we shred it. We clean that plastic ourselves
Okay.
here in two different containers. From there, we dry it over there in those greenhouses. That is something we learned from coffee. A lot of people do it with gas,
Right.
but it's no need to use gas.
Coffee greenhouses. Yeah.
With the greenhouses, the same way you dry coffee. So you put them over there, and then that gets sent to our plastic container provider, and they recycle and put it into our own containers. So the plastic just goes the full circle. So this is our treatment plant. Our treatment plant is based on mainly two different things. Standing on top of a tank, 20,000 liter tank, and then you get this problem, right? How do I know what to treat for, right? If the factory has a big day of making laundry detergent, and then the next day is disinfectant, then it's really gonna change what I have in that mixture. So what we do is we separate it in that tank. So we take like 3,000 liters, we put it in that tank, we test for what it has, and then we deal with that.
Okay.
And then we do that several different times
I
a
see.
day. In that tank, what you do is think about big particles. The big particles get stuck together and then get separated from the water. Then you get small particles. So you got that part, and then that part comes into here. I'll show you how it looks like in a second. And then the other part is an oxidation process.
Okay.
So we oxidize everything that is in the water. It's a continuous cycle before the water gets sent to a little lagoon that we have over there, and is used for watering or washing cars or for
Okay.
cleaning everything. It's really hot, so we probably shouldn't go in, but this one is,
This one's actually hot.
yeah. So that's how we avoid using gas to dry the plastic. Just here, and then that's over there. We just dry it and dry it and dry it
Makes total sense.
until you get all the water out.
Describe your output in terms of quantity of product. Is it like
In what sense?
bottles or like how many? So I see these jugs, this kind of standard jug that you have. Like how many of those are you producing, sending out per month, day, or week?
It changes. It changes a lot.
Okay.
It depends on. We work a lot with the tourism industry, so this month it gets a high up demand.
Sure.
Then it goes down. Biomed industry stays pretty much the same, so it will change.
I see.
It'll change a lot.
So who does all the work to assess what's happening in the field, like for the whole circular sort of concept? I mean, who's assessing what's happening in the homes or in the hotels or in the?
You're gonna take into account everybody. So you're gonna see, for example, how we treat plastic here. That is consequent of my sell. I don't sell plastic, but I have to use it.
Right.
And you're gonna see how we use it, and then everybody takes that into account, from the sales managers to the factory workers, to everybody knows, and everybody should know, and then everybody gives a little bit of their input. We do have the sustainability department that works on the sustainability certifications, keeping track of everything, but it's engraved in everybody.
So it's
part
of the culture.
It's part of the culture, and it's part of the strategy.
Got it.
One of the things that we do regularly, and it's part of certifications, culture, and everything, is to know what sustainability is. And to know what sustainability is for me is really different than what it is for a finance person or for a marketing person.
Many perspectives on it.
You have many perspectives, and that helps you be better as a company.